And joining us on the show this afternoon, the wonderful Tanya Unkovic. Tanya, thanks for being a part of the show today. And we're talking about something that I reckon is so needed at the moment because the new year has passed. We're sort of well into 2022. So maybe all those good intentions we've had have already gone by the by.
Well, they probably have. Statistically, they probably have, because National Quitters Day, apparently, is the second Friday.
This looks like something I could sign up for.
National Quitters Day. Well, you could. It happens every year.
Well, I did quit smoking, so that was a good thing that I did. Yeah, well, not this year, a few years ago now. But
that's good.
All I'm saying, Tanya, is that quitting isn't always a bad thing. If you quit the bad habits and keep the good ones, that's the trick, right?
I absolutely agree with you there, actually. Absolutely. So, yes, January the 14th apparently was the day that everyone was kind of statistically about to fall off the wagon this year.
Dear.
And isn't that crazy, though? I mean, it does happen every year.
Yeah,
but,
and I think particularly this year, I mean, it is a different kind of year already. You know, there's a bit of uncertainty. Certainly, there's a fair bit of angst out there at the moment. So perhaps some of those good intentions maybe have already gone by the by, and we're turning to things that aren't that helpful for us.
Yeah, and the numbers are telling us so. Apparently, alcohol sales are really skyrocketing. And, with the price of food now, people can't afford to buy the fresh fruits and vegetables and things like that. So they're tending to eat the cheaper things, and people are binging more. So I'm hearing a lot of people turning to substances just to soothe themselves during this time, because, there's not a lot to look forward to sometimes.
Donuts and something to wash it down by. I mean, this is in some ways people self-medicating their anxiety, but it's not a good long-term strategy, is it?
No, not at all, because what happens is that cycle of shame starts. Now, you may, even for people who are relapsing, who have given up alcohol or cigarettes or all that like yourself, and they are relapsing now because of the pressure, that cycle of shame starts. And then you start beating up on yourself, and it goes from one day into the next. And before you know it, it's a week-long bender. So it's not a healthy place to be.
A healthy place to be would be to start to look at how you can start caring for yourself. So let's talk about self-care, both on a personal level and a professional level.
Sure. Well, you've got to actually make the decision to do that as well. Some people don't hit rock bottom yet. They think, one or two drinks is fine, or a couple of bags of chips is fine. And it's not until they get to the point where they can't move that they then make the decision. And I'm going to invite you to not wait until you're crawling on the floor, because it's going to be harder to come back. Make that decision now that I'm going to do this reset, because I know that how I feel about myself physically and emotionally, how much self-respect I get, that's just going to affect every area of my life. So just make the decision, I'm going to do a reset right now.
When it comes to self-care, actually, it's not necessarily a selfish thing. It's the opposite of that. We can't care for others in our family, other people that may depend on us, if we're not looking after ourselves.
Well, and not only that, it's the old put the mask on yourself first thing, but not only that, you want to also lead by example. So if you don't want your kiddies to see you not respecting yourself and not respecting your body. You want to lead by example. Let your kiddies see that you really do enjoy working out. You really do enjoy looking after yourself. And that is the best way that they're going to learn. So you're doing it for them as well as doing it for yourself.
Often it takes to ensure that some of these goals are actually going to happen. Is it a matter of sort of letting other people in on your journey so that they can help you to get to the goals that you want to get to?
Without question. And that's where we've got to get over ourselves and let go of any shame that we're holding on to. Be okay in saying, hey, I'm not okay. Hey, I've started drinking again. I've started smoking again. Hey, I'm binging on food again. I need your help. So the minute you can actually just do that, accept it, happen, that is such a big part of the process, if you can just let go of that shame, because there will always be someone there who is ready to listen and understand and reach out and help you.
Some of this, I imagine, is just being aware of what is happening. And as we are into, nearly halfway through the second month of the year, perhaps a little bit of a stock take, because, I mean, as you mentioned at the beginning, it can start off as a bit of a gradual slide. Maybe we're not even conscious that we are heading that way, but time to take a bit of a a reset, bit of an inventory on how we're looking after ourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. Take a diary and write out what your day is like.
Okay.
For some people, it's good to just reflect on, well, what am I eating during the week? Oh my goodness, just writing it down. That's one way that you can actually measure. Because if you don't have any data to measure, you can't measure, right? So if you don't want to go back over the last week and write things down, then start now and start writing. What are all of the things that I'm doing to take care of myself? What are all of the things that I'm eating? When do I find I'm overeating? Oh, it's 3:00 in the afternoon. That's when I'm tired. That's when I'm feeling a bit low. All right, so start gathering as much information as you can, because that way you can make a decision on where you want to go.
And I think it's really important to also give yourself some grace, because there are days where you'll be doing really, really well, and that's awesome. But there's also times where you do have a bit of a down day. But it's not about going, oh, gosh, well, that's just me. Perhaps it's just saying, oh, I had a day that didn't go so well.
Beating yourself up isn't a great workout activity, is it?
It just doesn't seem to work, does it, Tanya?
I know. And you know what? I always say to people, live one day at a time. And you know what? Your 24 hours can start at any time of the day. Because you know what it's like. You're on a good eating plan or something, and, you've had those biscuits at lunchtime, and you go, oh, may as well finish the entire packet and I'll start tomorrow.
You've read my diary, right?
Well, look, we don't need to do that. We can actually just push that reset button at midday and go, you know what? Okay, a little bit of a slip. I'm going to go out and go for a walk, drink lots of water, and I'm going to start my 24 hours now. We don't need to write off an entire day. We don't need to wait until Monday before we start again. Just start today.
Tanya, that is such a good place to finish things off. Just start today, one day at a time. And you know what? Let's start those good intentions well over again as we, reset for the year. Thanks for being a part of the show.
My pleasure.